Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Tugu, and today we're going to talk about the best stock for this week, about the market crash and if it actually was a market crash, and my portfolio performance. So stay around. Before we start the video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Only 2.5% of my viewers are subscribers, and I need your help to achieve the 1000 subscribers. So don't forget to smash that button. Now let's go back to the video. So this week we are starting with the ticker PPL Corp. They have a dividend yield of 5.88%. Paid quarterly on March, June, September, and December, and they are undervalued on 27.2%. The ex-dividend date is on the March 9th, and the financial health is a B, meaning they have more liabilities than assets, around 2 billion between the liabilities and assets. And the market sentiment is a hold. Bear in mind that I already talked with some similar companies in my portfolio, like ET and others. This is a utility companies as well as ET, but ET has a higher dividend yield than actually PPL. So if you want to invest, I'll go for PPL unless you don't have any payments during this month. But there's more in this video that can give you these payments with higher dividend yields. Although if this is a good company to invest in terms of financial health, is not the worst, but they are undervalued in 27%. Bear in mind that in this week we have an increase on the energy sector, and this was also one of the companies that had increased and growth on the past weeks, as you can see here on the graph. The ticker WBM Williams Company, it's a company on energy sector, oil, gas, and storage. We already talked about several companies with higher dividend yield than this one. This is only with a 6.76%, but pays quarterly in March, June, September, and December. And at the moment the company is overvalued on 9.6% due to the increase and the shift that happened in the market, which I'm going to explain further on this video. The ex-dividend date is on the 11th March, and the financial health, it's a B. Also, we have here a difference between 1 billion to 2 billions of difference between liabilities and assets. And the market sentiment, it's a buy. Once again, on my portfolio, I have similar companies. This company has a nice dividend yield, but although I think we have other companies in the market paying at the same time with better financial health and probably undervalued than this one. Like for example, BP or CX. The ticker IRM or Iron Mountain has a dividend yield of 6.91%. We are talking here about a REITs on the real estate. They are specialized on information management, which are a little bit different from the ones I have on my portfolio, like STORE or MPW, which are on the health sector. So this stock, they are specialized in information management services, so they work on the realm of information systems, tech. But beside this one, has a higher dividend yield. The ones I've talked before, like STORE and MPW, this stock has a worse financial health than the other ones. So that's why they have a B. They also have a difference between 1 or 2 billion between assets and liabilities, and the market sentiment, it's a buy. They've increased on the last few weeks, but this could be a nice asset to have on our portfolio because they are undervalued on 38.8%. If you don't have anything paying on this month, this could be a nice one to have on your portfolio. The ticker ARCC or Ars Capital Corp, they have a dividend yield of 8.54%. Their industry are on the asset management and custody banks, and they are on the sector of diverse finance. They are a business development company specialized on acquisition and recapitalization, meaning they buy other banks and other companies, corps, and they develop the business on these companies by selling them later on. So they have a dividend yield of 8.54%. It's actually one of the highest dividend yields that we have for this week. They are undervalued on 17%, and the ex-dividend date, it's on the 12th of March this week. And the financial health, it's 2Gs. They have a really great financial health. The assets are enormous regarding the liabilities, and we have a market sentiment of a buy. Having in consideration the financial health of this company, the dividend yields, and they are undervalued on 17%, I think it's a nice acquisition to have and to put as well on our portfolio, and having payments between March, June, September, and December. If you don't have anything else doing these payments during this month, I think this is a good acquisition. Actually, it's one of the companies that I'm going to put on my watch list and see with which one I could switch in the same sector. The ticker GLPI Gaming Leisure Properties, they have a dividend yield of 6.02%. They pay quarterly March, June, September, and December. They are undervalued in 36%, and the ex-dividend date is on the 12th of March. They have a financial health of 3Gs. They are quite good as well in terms of financial health. We're not talking here in terms of billions, we're talking here in terms of millions of difference. They have 9 billions around on liabilities, and the assets it's around 200 billions. So we have a really good financial health. The market sentiment is a hold, and this is also a REIT that leads the properties for gaming operators, and they are quite good in terms of financial health. I do believe this company has a big margin to grow. We are around 36% undervalued, and as soon as the COVID dissipates, and soon as people start to go back to see the games like NFL, football, soccer, whatever, this stock may increase exponentially. So if you don't want to buy right now, it's one to have on your watch list. Bear in mind one thing, the quarterly payments are not quite certain. Sometimes they differ. So for example, in June, the payment was in May, in September was, so this is not quite certain, but this is usually the average that they pay in March, June, September, and December. So, but this is something that you need to verify every single time they're going to do the release of the ex-dividend dates and the payment dates. If you saw the video that I published last week, you're going to see that the market's going to fall as well based on historical data. This actually happened, and we're going to have similar action this week. Although, what's going to happen, we didn't have actually a market crash. This was more a market correction, because a market correction, it's around 6%, and that was what happened with SP 500 and Nasdaq 100. And here, to be a market crash, it should be around 20%, which didn't happen. So this was actually a market correction, not a market crash. What happened with the high-tech industry was we had a shift from growing stocks to what is called value stocks, like companies on the energy sector and like AT&T, which increased a lot this week. And this actually had a really big impact on my portfolio for one simple reason. I do also possess companies with growth stocks, so that was actually the shift from growth stocks to valued stocks, and I do own around 16% of my stocks are valued stocks, like the ETF XLE and other stocks like AT&T and CVX. These value stocks are really well established companies, and they pay really good dividends, and this had a big increase and impact on my portfolio, as we've seen. So the market actually didn't affect me, and actually my portfolio had increased, which we're going to see at the end of this video. What's going to happen to the market this week is the stimulus was approved on Saturday, so we're not going to see a continuous fall. Actually, it's going to start to increase, and we can already see that the pre-markets has become positive. And I hope the market is going to start to ascend in the next upcoming weeks and months, because of the $1.9 trillion is going to be injected on the market with the stimulus, and this is going to increase for the next upcoming weeks. But when we're going to pay the bill, we still don't know, probably next year. Let's see. If you want to copy all my trades, you can use the eToro platform, and you can also search for my nickname, which is Kenite, and you can copy my trades. All the trades are going to be copied. I recommend to use at least $500, which now it's the minimum. Of course, you can use around 600 or 1000. More you invest, more gains you're going to collect, and more dividends as well you're going to collect. And don't forget to use my spreadsheets so you can simulate my copies and you can see how much you can win per month. So this is where you can invest the $500, and here at the end it's where you can see how much you can gain per month and at the end of the year. Bear in mind, these values are already after tax. So in this case, United States, you will need to pay around 30%. In UK, you don't pay anything. One thing that you need to have in consideration is if I'm buying the stock right now, for example, in March, I'm not going to receive the dividends in March. I'm going to receive only the dividends in April or May. So because of the ex-dividend date, this is something that we need to have in consideration. We still didn't receive any payments in March. this may be taking a little bit longer since they have some problems with the system at the moment. What made me happy this week was all my copies got positive, and this was quite overwhelming, and I'm happy for this to happen. And once again, guys, a tap on your backs because we did it, and I'm hoping more profits are coming on the next coming weeks. My portfolio this week outperformed the market in 3.2%, with the market in 0.4%, and my portfolio increased around 2.8%. Bear in mind, we don't have here crypto, otherwise this will be higher because had a big increase, and also Bitcoin, especially on the Saturday and Sunday. My portfolio had a growth of 3.12%, and since inception 13.91%. So we had increase almost of 4 points this week. The four stocks for this week, it's the ETF AMZA with 13.98%. Bear in mind, this is a special ETF that they use leverage on their portfolio. So the increase was quite exponential, and they have a big chunk on their portfolio of valued stocks instead of growing stocks. The energy sector had increased quite a lot this week, so therefore the ETF XLE had increased as well, around 9.97%. And of course, as we know, all the stocks that I have on my portfolio on the energy sector had increased as well. In this case, BPL and Chevron around 9.27% and 9%. And of course, the energy transfer as well, one of the biggest players on my portfolio, had increased as well of 6.68%. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you can receive the next video on the next week. And if you think that I missed something, please leave the comment there. And once again, thank you and cheers.